can never do anything but guess in this business because he was such a reclusive man. But once the Taliban agreed to talk to the Afghan government about peace without total victory, you had to begin to wonder where Mullah Omar was, because he was a dead ender. He was the leader of the jihad. He was the commander of the faithful. There was no way he was going to compromise those positions by dealing with the government he was absolutely confident would be gutted by the Taliban after the Americans and the British left.
So this report of his demise on the eve of the next round of peace talks, does it have any implications at all for that?
Oh, I think it does. I think very much so. Within Afghanistan, most of the Taliban field commanders have opposed these peace talks, and now they've learned they've been lied to by their supreme commanders for 2 years. I don't think that the delegation talking to the Ashraf Ghani government has much credibility left with the people who actually are carrying guns. In the international sense, Mullah Omar being taken off the board leaves one man who claims title to being a caliph, to being the commander of the faithful, and that's Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the head of the Islamic State. And al-Qaeda's groups in Yemen, in Libya, in Syria, all have been troubled with defections and intentions to defect to the IS forces. And they've been held back in place mostly by their oath of loyalty to Mullah Omar. That is now broken, and I don't think it is transferable, ma'am. And the other point I would make for Al-Qaeda is that they're going to be extraordinarily angry with Mullah Omar, who certainly knew with Ayman al-Zawahiri, the chief of Al-Qaeda. They'll be extremely angry with him for misleading them for 2 years. It's unbelievable to suspect that Zawahiri didn't know that Mullah Omar was dead. This is all told very bad news for the West.
Ultimately, as well, Mullah Omar was almost this mythical figure at the head of the Taliban, and without him, you say that IS could rise. But does it also spell the demise of the Taliban ultimately?
Well, I think it's going to be very hard to find a leader for the Taliban that people will identify with in the same terms as Mullah Omar. Mullah Omar was a veteran of the Afghan war. He did not turn over Osama bin Laden, in effect gave up his government and his country. And now the people who surrounded him turned out to be, very, very significant liars in terms of his presence and not announcing his death. I think it's very likely that the Taliban fighters are now up for grabs in the sense of another organization winning their allegiance.
Michael Scheuer, it's good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us on Sky News Tonight.
Thank you kindly, ma'am.